Mining equipment worth 60 million rand has been seized at an illegal coal mine in Mpumalanga. Excavators, bulldozers as well as dump trucks are all among those seized by the police illicit mining task team. Well, the task team pounced on the illegal mine and arrested the manager who could not produce an operating permit. A manhunt has now been launched for the owner of the mine. So for more on this, we're now joined by police spokesperson Brigadier R60m who joins me to give us more details around this case. Brigadier, thank you for your time and a very warm good morning to you. What are the contents of, this particular, incident, but also how the police worked to apprehend the suspects? Oh, Brigadier Mate, our line seems to be very bad. I'm going to perhaps give you a chance so we can reconnect once again and have this conversation. Quite important to look at the merit of the content, the merits rather of the case, but also trying to see how exactly the SAPS managed to track down and clamp down on the suspects. So we'll try to get a hold of you once again, Brigadier R60m Mate, giving us an update on that mining equipment story, that case. We understand equipment worth 60 million rand being seized at an illegal coal mine out in Mpumalanga. Let me try once again to see, Brigadier, if you're back with me, and apologies for that. Our line seems to have been bad, but if you're back with me, Brigadier, take us through this particular case and how you managed to crack down on the suspects.
Well, a very good morning, and thank you for the opportunity. You will recall that as the SAPS, we have established what we call the Energy National Joint Operational and Intelligence Structure, where we look at addressing crime and corruption-related matters in the energy sector. So in response to this, in the past 12 months, we've had 748 coal yards that were visited across the country, where we visited them to ensure compliance. In response to this, a total of 63 unregulated coal yards were shut down because they were not authorized to operate. It was found that they had no license, mining license permits. So with this particular case, we have been tracking and tracing the operations of this particular illegal coal mine. Our team pounced on this particular mine during this week, where we found that the mine was not operating without a license. We also confiscated 60 million worth of equipment, which includes obviously your excavators, your bulldozers, and your dump trucks. We also, in the process, seized 12 million rand worth of coal that was mined illegally. We arrested the mine manager, and at the moment, we are on a manhunt for the mine owner. The mine manager has already appeared before court, and he has already been charged with illegal mining, and he is currently out on bail of 4,000 rand.
What charges does the owner also face, a Brigadier? Because this sounds like a very serious crime that you're trying to, also speak against as members of the SAPS. Operating a mine without a permit, that surely constitutes some serious charges.
Absolutely. So at this stage, he too faces a charge of illegal mining activities and so on. So yes, the manhunt for this particular mine owner. We are hot on his heels to try and apprehend him, because we are aware that he is aware that we had been at his mine, which has been operating illegally, and that his mine manager was also arrested. So we are making a plea to either that he hands himself over, or we will find him ourselves.
Yeah, I want to also get into how you are cracking down on other crimes, Brigadier, in just a moment. But before I do, I wanted to ask you, how prevalent are such, crimes whereby mines across the country are illegally operating?
Well, there are a number of cases in which we have dealt with, like I've indicated. On a weekly basis, our members are conducting these compliance visits at the coal yards across the country, and it is in these such cases that we pick up on coal mines that are operating illegally. So, for instance, in the past 12 months, we have shut down 63 illegal or rather unregulated coal yards, and we have arrested 241 suspects between the 1st of January to date. These were suspects that are involved in illicit mining activities. But what is also important is that from the 8th of May to date, we have arrested 335 illegal miners across the country, with many of them arrested in many parts of Gauteng.
Yeah, that I suppose that explains why this policing illicit mining task team has now been, has been established to crack down on these cases. It's quite a number of suspects we're taking here. If we're saying 241 suspects from January this year alone and 335 illegal miners also been arrested, Brigadier. I want to also touch on other, crimes that you've been, working on, cracking down around the country, just in isolation of illegal mining activity. Can you share with us?
Well, it's been quite a hectic week for the South African Police Service. I think our police have done quite well across the country with the Acting National Commissioner, Lieutenant General Tebelo Musikedi, applauding members across the length and breadth of this country for addressing serious and violent crime, especially aggravated robberies. Just yesterday, we saw 4 cash and transit robbers being killed during a shootout. This followed an intelligence operation in which there was a cash and transit heist that took place in Hoedspruit. 4 robbers were killed, 3 were arrested. We managed to recover some of the money that was taken during the cash and transit heist. We also recovered 1 pistol and 1 rifle. Also in that particular cash and transit heist, it's unfortunate that one of the G4S security officials succumbed to his injuries on scene following a shootout between the security guards of G4S and the suspects that we were tracing. In another operation, we also would like to applaud the KwaZulu-Natal police. You will recall that on Tuesday, there was a shooting where 5 men were killed in a parking lot of a shopping center in Richards Bay. And within 24 hours of that commission of that particular crime, our specialized operations swooped in an upmarket estate in Palito in Durban, where they traced 2. Those 2 suspects were shot and killed by police during that particular operation. If that's not all, in the Eastern Cape as well, we arrested a gang that robbed a store of 1 million rand worth of jewelry. On the same day as the robbery, all 10 suspects that were involved in this particular robbery were arrested by police. So we are stamping the authority of the state. We do believe we are making inroads, and we can only do so also with the assistance of communities across South Africa.
Right. It sounds like a lot of work, behind the heels for police members. I mean, ideally, Brigadier, I'm sure you would agree that crime prevention is the messaging that you would prefer to communicate to South Africans to prevent doing crime. But unfortunately, we are in a crime-infested country, and this is just amongst the work that you're doing as members of the SAPS. If I may just ask you this last question before I let you go, Brigadier, because I see that you are busy in terms of hounding suspects involved in criminal activity. We are currently focusing also on Diepsloot and the community members there lamenting lack of, police visibility. Any plans to assist the community of Diepsloot with regards to crime prevention, also apprehending some of these, criminals that are really giving community members sleepless nights?
We have been in Diepsloot for quite some time now. We have specialized units, especially our tactical response teams, that we have deployed to stabilize and normalize that particular area. Time and again, we meet with community leaders to assess our operational plan to see if things are working and so on. So it's a matter of engaging the community again, seeing how best we can obviously intensify our crime combating efforts, and if necessary, more resources will be required to be deployed to that particular area. But we also have the local police station that is also assisting our tactical response to teams to address serious and violent crimes in that particular area. So we are in Diepsloot. We have never left Diepsloot as the SAPS. It's just a matter of engaging communities and see how best we can resolve the issues at hand in the area of Diepsloot.
Brigadier, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for speaking to me this morning. That's police spokesperson Brigadier Tlenda Mati updating us on a particular case out in Mpumalanga. 60 million rand worth of mining equipment seized. This after some illegal mining activity was being conducted there. Also, no mining permit as it was found when they, of course, pounced on the mining manager. They're still on the manhunt for the mining owner, but also giving us a perspective of how the activities of the SAPS members alongside other, stakeholders has been going on nationally, and also what the strategies are currently for some of the concerns raised by Diepsloot residents.